Here we are, alive once more. Though the curfew bells be ringing, we escape in the ether and spread ourselves around the world through electronic means, because physical distribution of self is frowned upon right now. In some places more than others, and righty here in lockdown Melbourne is one of the places where moving around very, very frowned on. So not a thing we do. Good evening, Stella and Fox and Megaleech. Nice to see you. As we soldier on through these weird times, it's hard to think of anything else to say apart from shit's really weird, isn't it? Yep, it's all fucked up, and and we carry on just the same, essentially. What are our options? Carry on or not carry on? I choose carry on as much as we can. Okay. Quarter. I'm just looking something up. Quarter and drink I'm going to make me later. 2 half. Okay, I'm going to do that recipe. I'm going to make an aviation cocktail later. Fox, 6-1, half a dozen of the other. Little from column A, little of column B. Dressed up. I want to feel fancy. I am going to make a cocktail video, though. Megaleech can't stay. That's okay. Thank you for dropping by and saying hello. I am going to make an aviation cocktail because I think it's tomorrow is aviation day. It's I think it's the birth date of one of the Wright brothers. He said, just trying to remember, I'm sure I read it. I'll double check. Declared by President Roosevelt in 1939 that Orville Wright's birthday would be National Aviation Day. I'm not sure why Wilbur got left out. It was the two White brothers who had the first self-powered flight, of course. And so, yeah, that's a straight-up excuse to make an aviation-style cocktail. Still, I'm actually also with you in terms of Carry On. I'll be the Sid James version of Carry On, with farcical contents. God, one of the you know how the broadcast channels now have all these digital channels where they put, it's basically repeats. They run repeats. One of them on weekends was regularly doing Carry On movies, and I mean old black and white Carry On movies. And I'd often watch a bit of them, or sometimes more than a bit of them, just to sort of revel in. Oh, excuse me, it's about time. You want to stop? Just to revel in the weirdness of what used to happen in movies. And one of them was a black and white one. I forget which one it was, but there was this whole very weird scene where a guy, I think he was being a traveling salesman or something, and this woman's trying to seduce him. And it turns out she's doing it to make her husband jealous. She thinks he ignores her, and she actually times this whole thing so that her husband will come in while she's in a negligee throwing herself at this guy, and the angry husband was played by Ed Devereaux, that Australians of a certain age will remember as the park ranger from Skippy. Oh, yeah, oh God, I'm just going to yawn the whole time, aren't I? And this was a younger Ed Devereaux than Skippy. And he's a big guy. He doesn't even say anything. He just comes in and looks big and threatening. But it was quite funny to see him just pop up. And he actually got his name in the credits, even though I don't think he spoke. But yeah, he just came in and looked big and threatening. And when used to him being the lovable dad in Skippy, him playing a heavy in a movie is quite weird. You Fox, you go with Carry On My Wayward Son. I remember that particular song. Someone did a video on YouTube that said Carry On My Wayward Son perfectly fits the closing scene of any video game. And they just showed it with, the set piece finishes of 6 different video games, and just when it came to the big moment, Carry On My Wayward Son started playing, and it seemed to fit all of them. It was an interesting observation this person made. I've just got to yawn the whole time. This is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know why the yawns have got a hold of me today, but it seems they most certainly have a hold of me. Well, I don't want to do anything dumb to counteract them, like have any caffeine or anything, because, yeah, I do actually want to go to bed. Johnny Knoxkill, how am I tonight? I'm doing fine. I can't stop yawning, but that's by the by. PBR, you want the cat in the hat tie? You think I look like a concierge? It's a look. It's a look. What is funny is dressing like this, because I would often dress like this for office jobs. Reasonably often in shops, it made people think I worked there, and they would ask me for stuff. I was like, I don't work here. But yes, Fox, I will drink a bit of booze. What I'm going to do is an aviation cocktail, and there are lots of variances in cocktails, different books, different sites. What I'm going to make is 2 ounces of gin. I don't think I'll use my Navy Strength. I think I'll use another gin. Half an ounce of violet liqueur. And that's about as much as I've got left of my violet liqueur. God, it's got a bit of dust on the top of it. It really has. God, I need to clean that, because I don't think I think it's had that much in the bottle for like a year. I haven't touched it. God, I really need to wipe that dust off. That's terrible. It's a really good solid bottle. Be very good in hand. I don't see how thick the glass base on it is. Get a good grip on it like that. That's not quite long enough for a good grip, but it'd be very good in hand-to-hand combat. Do someone a serious injury if you hit them over the head with it. Johnny, you don't know where the socks are. No. We won't go too deeply into the Cat in the Hat. I used to read a lot of Dr. Seuss to my kids when they were young. I would always do the bedtime stories, and they'd always want the same ones over and over. Ooh, PBR got some Absolute Raspberry Vodka. Sounds good. Sounds good. Still, you're trying to buy a website which you haven't done in 15 years, and you've forgotten everything. God damn. That's revisiting all the old annoyances of building a website. Dang. And just do it. anniversaries of events coming up. Did anyone here know the Mona Lisa was stolen in the early 20th century? I really did not. The anniversary of that is coming up in 1911 on the 21st of August. The Mona Lisa was stolen. Ikiliev, I tried Ratu 8-year-old signature premium rum. I'm not really a rum connoisseur. I have a few different rums, and I don't sit and drink rum. I put them in mixed drinks, and I'm definitely not a connoisseur of rum. I have a few different aged rums there, but I do not have that one. Stella, you're just doing a WordPress site. Yeah, you'll get there. WordPress isn't that hard. You're right, Rodney. If you're setting up a website, it seems easy, seems cheap, then there's all the additional costs. Yeah. Johnny, my kids sound like you with Lion King. Drove your mum mad watching it over and over. One thing we watched was that we had the first 2 seasons of Pokemon on VHS, and watched that so. Oh, fucking hell. Shit. What did I just do then? Fuck me. I got a sharp bit on one of my nails. God damn. What the fuck? Honestly, what's going on here? Yes, we watched the first 2 seasons of Pokemon over and over and over and over. So, yeah, some of the kids like repetition. They don't get sick of the same thing over and over. Really enjoy your repetition. So, yeah, makes them easy to look after. PBR, you're on YouTube binging Hodge Twins. Oh, like Stella, I am not familiar with Hodge Twins. I don't know what that is. Stella, you're refusing to pay for WordPress. So you're writing all the code yourself. Wow, okay. I have a WordPress site that I have not touched in an extremely long time, and I just used one of their default things. I couldn't be bothered doing anything showy. Catherine, you are right. Anything in repetition gets annoying after a while, but you know they like what they like. Ooh, Royal Jinx. Johnny's on Sailor Jerry and Sarsaparilla. Nice. Rodney, you're selling rupertmurdochmedia.com. Good luck with that. Not sure that anyone back in the day you could make a fucking fortune from a URL speculation if you had the right one. I am not going to stop yawning, am I? So PBR, those Black American twins, stand-up comedians, they're conservative. Okay. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I think it might be a stretch to call them comedians, but I might also be thinking about the wrong ones as well. Catherine, yes, you're right. For some people, repetition is comforting. Some people are, for instance, happier, like binge watching a show they've watched multiple times before rather than watching something new. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm certainly not averse to rewatching things like movies and TV shows. Sometimes when I do it, I hate myself, though, because but there's a bunch of new things that you haven't seen. Why are you using up hours watching something you've seen before? North, a dingo took your baby. That can happen in campgrounds. You need to, not have food scraps lying around and keep your tent and your baby secure, or that's a thing that can happen. So you got to be careful of that. The other thing dingoes do is bite people. I know there's a tourist destination in Queensland, Fraser Island, very sandy island, very impressive sand dunes, popular with tourists who a lot of them fuck it up. But there are a lot of dingoes on the island, and they're very attractive dogs, but they're wild dogs, and campers have made the mistake of feeding them. So now they basically hassle campers, and they're quite dangerous. They will give you a very nasty bite. So that's a little bit of a problem in some areas. Hey, Locust Trooper, how you doing? Catherine, going through the DVDs methodically. That is methodical, going through them one at a time instead of binging over the same one over and over. I don't really buy DVDs anymore, but for many years I did somewhat obsessively, and I've bought like a really significant number that I haven't watched because I thought one day I might end up in a situation where I had nothing to do but watch DVDs, which, some people would say is now, but the combination of the fact that A, I'm working, so I don't have empty hours during the day, and B, I like doing this most nights, so I don't have empty hours at night. So I have not been watching more TV than usual. In fact, I've been watching less TV than before I started doing the live streams so often. Locust Trooper, any speculation about when lockdown ends is just speculation. And there's also depends what you mean by lockdown ending. I think the first thing that will happen is they will get rid of the curfew and the 5-kilometer limit. Not necessarily at the same time, but quite possibly at the same time. I think those will be the first two restrictions to be relaxed. And if they weren't being relaxed at the same time, I reckon the curfew would be relaxed first. Then the 5-kilometer limit, and then back to some businesses being allowed to open again, broaden the thing, broaden what shops are open. Yes, what businesses can operate. But anyone saying they know when it's going to end is talking shit, really. So it's just all speculation. Circumstances could change radically one way or the other, which would influence decisions. But nobody's making decisions. I tell you absolutely unequivocally, although it'd be great if I got proved wrong, but I would say absolutely unequivocally the lockdown is not going to end early, no matter how low cases drop. But it may last longer. PBR, you bought Lost in Space box set. That's classic fucking cheesy stuff. I love that. Hey, Carl, how's it going? So yes, the crunchy lockdown is working. We're seeing the decline in new cases, which is what we wanted. Still a significant number of deaths, but once it became clear how fucked it was in aged care and how many old people had contracted the virus, it was really clear that over the course of this lockdown, hundreds more people were going to die, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's just a really contagious disease that is particularly brutal on old people. So it kind of sounds a bit callous to say not paying that much attention to the deaths, because once the fucking virus ripped through aged care, that was inevitable. It's just a case of how many new cases are they is the big deal. Ekilia, do I have any tips for someone wanting to get into creating YouTube content? Do something you love, because if you do it solely in the hope of I want to get lots of subscribers, I want to be famous and whatnot, 99.99% of people who go in with that mindset will be very disappointed. But if you do something that you love, you'll be happy. But second, that's the type of thing that's more likely to appeal to an audience, because it really shows when you like what you're doing. So, yes. Kyle, you're busy AF. What are you working on that's keeping you busy AF? I'm intrigued. Safa, private enterprise aged care is a fucking crime. It is a fucking crime. It is treating people like absolute shit in the name of profit, and all the people who've profited millions while leaving the old people in shitty conditions should be in fucking prison, okay? Oh, yes, Stella, Lost in Space on Netflix, I really enjoy. I think they're doing really interesting. Yes, Parker Posey is Dr. Smith. She is really good. But generally speaking, the Netflix Lost in Space series, I really enjoy. Yeah, Locust Trooper, Jesus Christ, man, anyone in aged care is at really quite extreme risk, particularly if he's 96. No, I hope he's okay too, man. Kyle, you getting your own StreamYard happening? Is that what you're doing? Oh, good. All right. Okay, PBA, you haven't seen it, but you like Parker Posey. Well, no spoilers. They do quite different things with it, and yeah, I think it's very clever what they do with it. Basically, it has core elements of the 60s TV series Lost in Space. Has the core dynamics happening, but then they do a bunch of really different stuff, and I hope it runs for a few more seasons, because it's they're setting it up to go some really interesting places. Oh, Kyle, you're talking about me. Yes, I got StreamYard happening. Hanging with my peeps. So what country does StreamYard come from? I think the young dudes who created it are American. I think. I remember this guy's name because it sounds like a rock star name. Gage Vanderkamp is one of the creators. So, PBR, you are right. The Lost in Space movie with Joey from Friends sucked. It had individual elements that were good, but it overall sucked. Gary Oldman as Dr. Smith was quite good. And some of their effects and the suggestions of technology were quite good. But overall, it sucked the proverbial. Sounds like a top bloke, Locust Trooper. Fought in the Pacific against the Japanese. Got shot himself, cared for his mates. Yep, sounds like a good bloke. Oh, see, Carl, don't speak obliquely. This lockdown has turned my brain to absolute mush. And unless you speak to me directly, I will probably not understand what you're saying. Kyle, you're saying you have goss. What goss do you have, Kyle? And I can tell you're just bursting. On what topic are you going to dish? I don't know. I got my sort of safety barrier off. Is it dodgy territory, or is it just open season? That's an interesting story I haven't seen, Safa. China doesn't want Australian wine because we overflooded the China market. Yeah, who knows? Capitalism's fucking weird. Not a wine drinker, but by most estimates, Australian wine's pretty good. But who knows? Oh, just life. You've just got goss. Okay, I guess I should. Oh, that's an interesting one, PBR. The YouTube and Google have been popping up this thing like, your service is under threat from new laws in Australia. A friend of mine who makes their living off YouTube messaged me freaking out, like, what does this fucking mean? And I went, it's got elements of truth, but it's probably a mix of some elements of truth and Google being very self-serving. Because honestly, Google is not a trustworthy company. But by the same token, our government is neither trustworthy nor competent. So I think it's perfectly possible that they would put through very ill-thought laws that fucked up the internet for us. Because quite frankly, our government are fucking morons. And Labor, with relation to technology, I've never seen anything better from them, actually. So, right, okay. So Kyle wants to come on and goss. Oh God! Now you're on Facebook. You're going to make me go to Facebook, and I have to go to Facebook and post the link there. Because if I do it in StreamYard, it won't show up. So there you go. I put the linky poo in Facebook. John, did I read the letter Google wrote to you? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It's it's a bit of a thing. Oh yeah, I'll open the stream early to everyone if anyone else is interested, for that matter. So, Kyle.
Hi, Andrew.
How you doing?
I'm good. I just had a meeting and now I'm talking to you while also working on an assignment.
All right, busy.
Very busy. It's almost ridiculous.
Yep. So it's better than being bored.
Yes, how are you going in lockdown? I hear that you're losing your mind.
I reckon, like, we're in the third week of minimum 6 weeks. I reckon even people who are holding it together now are going to be a little bit fucking loopy at the end of 6 weeks. And I'm counting myself in there. Like, I'm not too bothered now, but I'm not feeling good about 6 weeks. And Fox, how you doing?
I'm good.
All right. So what goss were you going to dish, Kyle?
What goss do I have? Well, I was going to.
You sounded like you had lots.
Well, I mean, not really.
Not really, but that's okay. You can be casual about.
I just got so much on. I also just haven't been even keeping up with the goss because I'm working on a short film right now, which is going into production soon, hopefully, and then I've got like assignments going up the railroad. I just don't have any time to kind of be like, oh my God, what's happening in these people's lives and shit. I'm just like, I don't fucking care.
So assignment, is that like a uni assignment or something?
Yeah, I've got 3 uni assignments due over 4 uni assignments due over 4 weeks.
Fun. Ugh.
So, yeah, my life.
Every now and then someone would say something, oh yeah, you should do that at uni. And I'm going, oh yeah, I should get back into having to do assignments and shit again. That would make me so fucking happy. No.
Well, it depends. I mean, it totally depends on many different things as to what you want to do.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to uni because I just kind of came to the point where I needed to kind of be, I was reaching the pinnacle limit of what my career could be without going to university.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that has interested me is the rise of artificial intelligence, automation, and robotics, and how they're all coming together. And I'd actually like to work on essentially the ethics side of that, because there's all people who are mad for the technology doing the technology, but people not considering the displacement that automation is causing, and that's just going to get worse in the coming decades in all probability, and without forward thinking and some good policy, we'll probably all get fucked up by it. So
I was going to say I had an interesting conversation today about somebody, not specifically about robotics, but how sex will look like, how sex is looking like in the world of virtual reality, and how Vice News did a really fantastic, very strange, but a very interesting video documentary about sex in regards to the aspect of doing sex through virtual reality. So, for example, things like you could, like, basically you could have sex with a motorized vibrator while in virtual reality, and it will look like you're actually fucking a human.
Yeah, well, various bits of that technology exists now. But sorry, it just reminded me. I watched there's a series on Prime called Upload. Which was it was cute. It was amusing. It's not a legendary show, but I found it amusing. It's like when you die, your consciousness is uploaded to this VR world, and the guy who's died is trying to maintain a relationship with his girlfriend who's not dead. And she's kind of like, oh, we should do the VR sex. She goes into the store where you can rent these VR sex suits. And it's just like this zip-up wetsuit. And the interior is just all these rubber fingers. And it just looks suitably great.
I was going to say, the song that's in the trailer for Upload, and this is a bit of, it will take a while to kind of be like, how did you think of this? So the song that's in the Upload trailer is the music for the trailer of Downsizing starring Matt Damon, right?
Okay.
And Matt, the director of Downsizing, or I think is either the director or the writer, Alexander Payne, has just been put up by Rose McGowan by saying that he sexually assaulted me when I was 15.
Yikes.
He was also the director of Descendants and Sideways and these fantastic films, and
yikes.
It just is. You feel so bad because we're having a discussion at film school right now about whether or not you can enjoy the art, whether you can separate the art from the artist.
We had that conversation on here once.
Yeah. Sorry, just go. Who's Johnny's adding to the chat? Hello.
Hello.
On audio, anyway. How you doing?
Yeah, I still don't have a webcam, and I can't be bothered using my phone.
Fair enough. That's okay. We can hear you. That whole separate art from artist. I mean, I also think I'd divide it into two categories. If I find out that someone working now is like a serial abuser, fuck them. They should be drop kicked out of whatever industry they're in, because they're ruining other people's potential. So, but they're a great artist. Yeah, but they're probably fucking up 20 other people who would have done great work.
But then what do you do about the work that already exists?
See, and that's the second thing, particularly if someone's dead. Because one thing I won't do, or I try to avoid, is giving money to someone like that. So, like, I'd never pay money to watch something by Woody Allen, put it that way, and that type of thing. But it's almost like, well, you know, and that's what. Sorry, Johnny.
Oh, I just remember when we were talking about this last time, someone made a great comment about if you want a Harry Potter book, go to an op shop and buy it. So you're not giving money to JK.
Yeah, and that type of thing, I think, is completely legit. If you get
Yeah.
something secondhand, you're not, that money's not going to the person who you maybe have a big problem with. But there's the other thing about, what about in your heart? What if it's something that you always loved, and the person who created the thing you loved turns out to be horrible? How do you change your feelings? Sometimes it's
Yeah.
easy. Sometimes you can just go,
It's-
"Oh no, fuck them."
How about I kill this conversation with the old what about Hitler and his art? If they let him into art school, would he have gone and done what he did?
Yeah, I mean that's more a cliche. That's not real.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
Hitler was always going to be Hitler. You actually read a biography of him. He was always driven to get his ideology out there. The art school thing is a red herring, but it's a fun joke to make. But it's a red herring in reality. But but there actually, I reckon you are raising a good point about the law of unintended consequences. So, say there's if I had a time machine, I'd go back and kill baby Hitler, but you don't know who else was out there and what would happen without. I mean, it's hard to imagine something worse than Hitler happening, but who knows?
Terminator Hitler.
Yeah, but on a lesser scale, it's like I'm going to execute that multiple murderer. Maybe that a member of their family takes that so personally, you drive them to be something worse, which is not a reason to not do that. But what was I thinking? It was a Netflix movie that was on recently, The Old Guard.
I want to watch that.
Based on a comic book, but there's a reference to just being good. Like if you saved a kid, that kid could grow up to be a doctor who saves hundreds of lives. ANZAC used this line in his show Code Grey about his medical misadventures, because he said, it's by certain measures they spent like $10 million keeping him alive. Which what's your return on investment there?
An unemployed comedian, wasn't it?
Yeah. For $10 million, you get an unemployed disabled comedian.
Yes, I absolutely love Code Grey, by the way.
It is a really good show. But his big line is, the person you save isn't necessarily giving you a return on investment, but you never know what their children or what their children's children. And his line was, all the great people in Australia are the sons and daughters of bogans. And it's just like,
it's a great like going back to like that Netflix movie. It kind of sounds a lot like a really good anime series called Monster.
Okay.
And at the start of that, I think he's a brain surgeon or just a surgeon. He's got the choice of saving a kid or the mayor of the town.
Right.
And he decides to save the kid, and the kid turns out to turn into a serial killer. And the rest of it's quite a long series. And then it just goes into, him tormenting the surgeon and the surgeon trying to catch him and all this. Yeah, it's just a real psychological thriller.
Sounds good. Hey, Grasshopper.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Hello.
Oh, pretty good.
Because you might save someone who becomes a doctor and cures a disease, but you might save someone whose kids end up being murderers or rapists. That philosophical idea cuts both ways.
It's always a fun thought experiment as to, if you could go back in time, should you kill Hitler as a kid? And it's like, well, we might have been able to do something good, but who says that somebody worse might have taken his place if we do, type thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
And David also brings up the
Hitler
time
with
travel
two balls.
paradox. If you traveled back in time to kill Hitler, you wouldn't have to travel back in time to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
It's a time travel paradox. You can't change things because then the circumstances that led to you having the time machine wouldn't exist to make you go back and do it. So, it's the time travel paradox. Oh, and it's a Hellion hello from Kirsten. Hello.
Hey, Kirsten.
Yeah. But if you want, still the
Hello.
best mess with your head time travel paradox movie I've seen was actually made in Australia, and it's called Predestination.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
I have heard good things. I haven't seen it myself.
It's good. It just takes the fundamental time travel paradox and turns it up to 11. It's just like, oh no, you think we can put a weird fucking paradox in? Watch this. And it's like, there's a secret agency of time travelers that fix problems, and it follows one particular agent played by Ethan Hawke. Is that his name? Ethan, what's his name anyway? I think it's Ethan Hawke, the guy from Before Sunrise. And
We had someone on Facebook asking if it was possible to join the stream. Yes, it is.
That's me, mate.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
He's come on with his YouTube name. So that was Shannon on Facebook. I was about to say, yes, Shannon, I put the link there, and then Shannon popped up. So
Yeah, no, I've heard it.
Well, I didn't know that, so yay! Now I know.
For some reason, Ozzy can never see my comments inside of YouTube. I don't know why.
Oh, isn't YouTube just brilliant?
It's weird AF. It's we haven't been able to work that one out. It doesn't make any sense.
Ever since I got a new phone, and I'm suddenly getting YouTube notifications like I never did before. Like I get them for you now.
What kind of notifications are you talking about?
Well, like for when someone I'm subscribed to has a new video, or when Angry's streaming. I never used to get notifications for it, and now I do when I use my new phone. It's weird.
Is it an Android phone or is it an iPhone?
Android.
There's settings inside of each of the individual apps where you can set up what notifications you do and don't want. So you can personalize that, but I had to turn all of the notifications on my mobile phone off. It was just driving me nuts.
Yeah, I can't blame you on that one.
Yeah, I don't get any notifications. Oh, apart from text messages. Everything else is like, no notifications, thank you. I don't want any.
Sorry to talk about some rather macabre type things, but how goes the lockdown, Angry?
We're just saying, like, I'm fine so far, except I think I'm going to be crazy by 6 weeks because there's just so far it hasn't bothered me, but there's something about not being allowed to go out after 8 o'clock at night and not being able to go more than 5 kilometers from home. I think in 6 weeks, that's going to start to feel a bit limiting.
One of the great things about it is, all the rich people that live on the beach, half of their area they can't go to it. They have to swim.
Yep, half their area is the ocean. So they only have half as much places to actually go at the rest of us. See, Safi, you do raise a good point. What do I do after 8 p.m. anyway? Not that much, which is why as we're sort of 2-3 weeks in, I'm fine because it's not that big a change to my life. But I do worry that by the time we start getting to 6 weeks and any possible extension, I might go a bit stir crazy. And I honestly, I don't blame people who get a bit tense about it. I mean, we've just all got to knuckle down and do the right thing because it's working. It's working remarkably well.
The cases are going down.
It would have been really weird if it didn't work.
Yeah,
but it's working quite well.
I think it's a bit annoying that the media is like kind of hyping up the death rate. How that's like higher. It's like of course that's
Sorry to cut you off there, Johnny, but No, the media the media of Australia just has a vested interest in making Labor look as bad as they possibly can. So,
they only. Oh wait, no, you said Labor, not Liberals. Never mind.
yeah, no, like I hop onto YouTube every now and again and scroll down and have a look at what they've got going on, and of course, Sky News is by far and away the worst bloody offender.
Yeah.
But 7, 9, 10, etc., even ABC to a certain extent. It's all about bloody demonizing Daniel Andrews and his response and how it was so bad. And it's
I saw some of that tonight.
Yeah, no, when you have a look at how these bloody infections started to spread and whatnot, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's
because of people wanting to fuck the this. I mean, the problem is yes, we do have to report the death rate because it's important for people to be aware of. And it doesn't matter if it's a Victorian state or a New South Wales state, because that's really important to kind of keep on top of. But I also think, again, if you look at this, if you look at Sky News, if you look at other places, there is a thing there that makes Labor look bad, and I don't know why this is.
Oh, dude, it's Murdoch.
Of course it is.
They've got to keep Labor looking bad because he's got a vested interest in these fucking idiots that are the Liberal government staying in power. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of Labor. I'm not by any stretch.
No.
But I don't think some people are like, it's it's still a shit sandwich. I don't necessarily agree with that. I believe that Liberals are by far and away way fucking worse than Labor. Labor do a lot of things that I don't like, but in comparison, they're Liberals don't even hold a candle as to how. Labor don't even hold a candle as to how bad fucking Liberal is. They are really not that bad.
Without a doubt.
Can I just finish what?
Sorry, go ahead, Julie.
So what I was originally going to say, I agree with what you're saying, that it's the media against Andrews and all that stuff. But it's just they're whipping up, saying how bad the death rate is now, when if you think about it, and I have a very little knowledge of statistics or anything, but of course the death rate was going to go up that high or around that, because we're at that stage of time when people who unfortunately are struggling with the disease, they're the ones that they're starting to die now because they've had it. And if you just think about it a little bit, of course it's going to end up like that. And the media are whipping up all this frenzy about it.
The media don't want anybody to do 3 seconds of critical thinking, because the moment that we do, we could the entire Australian population would be very quickly on top of exactly how full of shit they are about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Anyway. I say angry Aussie for PM of Victoria. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd cause too much trouble, but that's
it'll be fun trouble.
They wouldn't be able to air half of your press conferences, mate, with the kind of YouTube videos that you put.
I know mine. Does anyone remember the Key and Peele sketch of Obama's anger translator?
Oh, I love that so much. I want to be Dan Andrews' anger translator. Like when one of the Murdoch people says one of their real shit lines, and he goes, "Well, look, I just want to pop up from behind him and point, you shut the fuck up right now." No one fucking cares with your cheap point scoring bullshit. Get fucked and fuck off. I'd pay money to see that angry. I honestly would. That would be fan-fucking-tastic. It really would. I definitely want to do that, because you can tell he's just going. I'm so calm, I'm so controlled, and you go, yeah, you just want to tell him to get fucked, don't you? In the background, it was one of the things that Bill Shorten did that I actually really liked. Was during the whole same-sex marriage plebiscite. Peter Costello walked past him and made some sort of backhanded comment at him, and he basically turned around and said, "Yeah, whatever, mate. At least I'm not a homophobe." It was the most honest moment of politics that I had seen in ages.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That was so good.
Yeah.
Yep. I swear to God, that was the most honest part of politics that I had seen in Australia in decades.
Yeah,
Also,
that was
this
off
is the biggest issue in regards to the plebiscite is look, I mean, there is so much wrong with the plebiscite. Firstly, I don't even think we should have had one, to be honest.
Amen.
I think that was fucking stupid. The second of all, I find it really interesting that the man who is now our prime minister walked out of that final vote.
He's
I find it extremely interesting that but the thing is now that gay marriage has kind of been done and won, now that they've kind of, it's all about moving on to the next issue. So the next thing is we're going to start attacking the trans people, and especially the trans people and kids.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is the biggest issue, is that I look, I'm a person who I can understand some of the considerations and some of the confusion around things like safe schools and how you talk to people, but a lot of it is based off an aspect of just stereotypes of really damaging understandings and things that are just it doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I think this is the problem, is when you think about things like Sky News and stuff like that, it's just like why do people believe this shit?
Oh, fantastic marketing. Not to put a too fine a point on it, but it really is. It's just fantastic marketing. I always bring people's attention back to the bushfires. Okay, so Scummo buggered off over to Hawaii and whatnot, and the media were all over it, right? They were calling him all of the horrible things that he is, for buggering off over to Hawaii. But Anthony Albanese was there in the thick of it during that entire bushfire bloody crisis. He was talking to local politicians. He was making sure the funding was getting to where it needed to go. He was talking to RFS volunteers and all of these sorts of different things, and doing everything he could. And that got no attention whatsoever. But ScoMo, all over that. And it is literally just the old saying of even bad publicity is still publicity,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of that, most definitely. But I was looking at the various. I did notice we were talking about the lockdown. Kirsten saying that hubby decided to start pacing up and down, saying he wanted to go outside at 7:56. That was the wrong time to get that idea. So I went to put the garbage out last week, and just before going live, so it was about 7:56, and some dude walking his dog, and I'm going, whoa. You're optimistic. Like, even if you live on this block, you'll only just get inside before 8 o'clock.
Well, they have said that some of the issue for like so many of the cases down in Victoria were people who got positive bloody COVID tests were going out with their mates still.
Yeah, or visiting their family, or going to work, or it was. They were saying like there was like a testing site at a shopping mall. They were at a couple shopping malls at one point, and people were saying they were seeing people get tests, and of course you don't know if the test is positive or not, but it was people who obviously had some sort of symptoms that made getting a test a good idea. They were getting a test and then going shopping in a really busy shopping mall, and it's just like, that's not quite right. That's not quite right.
It really is just the hype. Like, I don't think that people truly understand what it is that they're supposed to do. Like, if they get the test, they're supposed to isolate until they get the results.
Yes.
You get the test and go straight home.
Yeah.
But the other issue that's there is that while I totally understand that the Andrews government should not have complete fault about this, the news that it did come out that 90% of the cases that are now in Victoria can be traced back to the hotel quarantine does need to take some sort of understanding that that is not good. And also the fact that the way that people were hired as guards was so bad.
Look, I worked in security for years, so let me just be really clear about this. The security industry in Australia, security guards are it's a money-making scheme more than it is anything else in the security industry these days. The lack of proper governmental oversight of security companies, security training, and application of security guards actually doing their bloody job, it is beyond lacking. You've got stories of these security guards that were apparently trading. Okay, so this is alleged because we're live on the internet, so I'm just going to allegedly.
Allegedly.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more.
Allegedly, some of these security guards were apparently trading sexual favors with people that were in hotel quarantine to either let them out or bring them extra things or like whatever the case may have been. It was just, oh goodness gracious. Like,
yeah, that's definitely an allegedly, by the way, because that that may and I don't mean to protect us. I just mean that may be true, but it was also one of the really sensationalist angles the media were going with when they had no evidence and just someone whispering it to them. And while that one hasn't been disproven yet, several other elements of what they were reporting have been disproven because they just ran with the first thing they heard. That may or may not be true, the sex one.
Angry, are you trying to say that Sky News is sensationalist? Because you may just be.
I know, right?
Now.
I'm going right out there.
You'd never say that.
Wow, how could you say something so controversial?
Yeah. And yet so brave.
Yes.
You truly are a martyr, sir.
Yeah, I know.
And we are truly being sarcastic.
It was that amazingly non-biased journalist on, I don't even know why I'm calling him journalist, on Sky News named Rowan Dean.
Oh, God, he's
I'm not even kidding with you because this actually happened and I cannot believe this happened.
Can I just say,
after the Sorry?
Well, you obviously can't trust him because he has two first names to start off with.
That's true. So right after the Thai rescue, right after the kids started coming out, Rowan Dean was on hair and he said, oh, look at this. This guy clearly is a man and we have to call him a man because he's not a gender fluid idiot because he's doing rescue good shit. He's doing like a whole bunch of rescue shit. And you're just like,
what the hell?
This is not the time for any of this shit. I don't care what you think is happening. That's not a direct quote, by the way. I can't remember what it said. Yeah. But I was just like, what the fuck? What are you doing, man?
Sky News and the rest of those idiots work on the premise, always be culture warring all the time. Just say really weird, irrelevant shit to push your agenda. It's very strange.
I don't even think it's strange anymore. I think it's now like in the back room somewhere. Like I don't go in for conspiracy theories, to be very clear. Like I firmly believe that we landed on the moon. I firmly believe that 9/11 was terrorists flying fucking planes into towers. Like I don't go in for conspiracy theories. But
wasn't it a laser from the sky?
But on that same token.
Sorry. I was going to say, this is the quote he said.
Oh, okay. Rowan Dean quote.
Here we go.
Rowan Dean quote. Hang on, the website's just coming up.
Stop streaming, it'll load faster.
No, he's trying to do it on Australian internet. That's his own fault.
There we go. So I know you don't believe me, so here it is. Those kids would not be alive. Those kids would not be alive if pumps had been solar or wind powered, and why gender fluidity is also a key issue for the Thai cave rescue.
Jesus.
Wow.
That
Okay.
is fucking painful to listen to.
He's
What
not going
the
mask off.
hell?
It keeps going.
He didn't take his mask off. He
Rowan
didn't go mask
being
off
on
this.
Sky
He
News
didn't put it
claims
on to
that
begin
Thai
with.
rescue is due to
Hold on. Kyle,
Sorry.
sorry. Hit pause there. What was that? Sorry, Fox?
There's a meme on, right wingers going mask off and showing their true colours. He didn't go mask off for that because he wasn't hiding his true colours. Or who he
No,
really
no.
is.
He's just that nuts. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah.
I was just also saying that Rowan Dean on Sky claiming that Thai cave rescue is due coal, and because there were no gender fluid divers. I am not joking. There is also a video.
Wow.
Oh no, he
To be
was
fair,
It's
they're-
almost as
they're
done as
Thai,
Elon
half
Musk.
trans.
He's
Calling the
dumb.
guy a pedophile.
But the
Look,
thing is,
No, that was
Elon,
mask.
all privy to people who say that Elon Musk is an absolute asshole. Look, I would totally fuck the guy. He is a science fiction doing a dream. Like, there's no. I would get down on one knee and I would, go there for Elon Musk.
No, look, it's
I personally would not. Because he
No,
shits me to tears.
as I was saying
Oh, for
before,
the money, I
Just
would.
everyone to tears, but he's fucking sexy.
as I was saying before, I don't go for the conspiracy things, but I do think, I would not be surprised if it got proven later on that there are a bunch of media fat cats sitting in a back room going, right, what can we get the Australian populace to be completely pissed about for no good reason today?
It's not so much a conspiracy as in the editorial direction is dictated directly by Rupert Murdoch, comes down through the board of directors, goes down to the editors of various media outlets, and if anyone ever does something Murdoch objects to, they lose their job. They are directed clearly and explicitly on the type of content they have to run. And I mean, like Murdoch's own son actually eventually quit because he couldn't handle the climate change denialism.
I
And
heard about that, yeah.
That comes from Rupert. Rupert is 100% all climate denial all the time.
Yay.
And it's just, it's not a conspiracy because he does it. That's how he runs the corporation.
Yeah, I've heard things like this, yeah.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I know that Murdoch is 100%, climate change denial. Trans people are, mentally ill or evil or something, or he's got a. It wouldn't surprise. I don't know if he's got any real religious convictions, but a lot of what he does seems to really fall in line with a lot of the religious fundies in Australia as well, i.e. the marriage plebiscite and whatnot.
Which is so weird that when you consider the fact that I mean, well, it's so interesting because when Patricia Karvelas, who used to be on Sky News and who actually was probably one of the moderates on Sky News as well, would actually say she actually had a debate with one of the guys who was for an equality party, and then Lyle Shelton, and she actually got Lyle Shelton to say, basically got him to admit that he didn't want marriage equality to happen because he didn't want people thinking he was gay.
That
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can just tell people that you're not gay, but
Exactly. This is the thing, is that's the problem when you think about conservatives in this country, is that I just feel like when they tell us about how triggered the snowflakes are, and I'm looking going, maybe somebody needs a mirror, because yes, there are people on the left who will be triggered, but when you actually say to people that you're going to base and put a whole bunch of people through shit because you firmly believe that you don't want people thinking you're gay, to me, that is the quote unquote definition of triggering.
It is.
and
Sorry, I just want to put my 2 cents in on the whole marriage equality thing. This is something that I was saying to people before the plebiscite was even announced, during the plebiscite, and what I've still maintained afterwards. all of the arguments that were against same-sex marriage, none of them stood up to any form of argument whatsoever. All of the people that stood against marriage equality before and still stand against it now, I honestly believe that all of their arguments, when you boil away all of the bullshit rhetoric, it all boils down to, ew, I don't like what the gay guys do. Ew.
Yeah.
I think
That
that's
is exactly it. That is exactly it.
yeah.
But it's also one of those things where when you think about the coalition for marriage or the marriage alliances, I live in Western Sydney. I live in a very, it's not progressive, but it's not conservative. It's kind of in the middle. Yet I saw nobody. Did I just say where I was from? I probably
You said
did.
Western
Just
Sydney.
the West.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. I was thinking that
Like
I
I'm Western Sydney as well, Kyle. Like I'm not afraid of that part.
I'm from
North
Western Sydney,
guys.
11 Main Street, Balmain. Sorry.
Centre of
Oh,
Victoria. Centre of Victoria.
there was no people here that were actually campaigning against marriage equality. I would have loved to have met them because I would have loved to. Let's tell us about your problems. What do you have problems with gay people?
I can give a bit of a religious spin on it for you if you want, because I've
Okay,
been
Johnny,
going
bring
to
it on.
the old Baptist church since I was a
Oh.
little tacker. Yeah, but I'm a Christian, and I believe that it's not wrong to be gay, even though most of my church thinks the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stuff like some scholars have come out and said, the classic quote of "don't lay next to a man" that everyone uses.
Which is not actually true.
Some scholars believe that it's actually it's been translated. It's meant to mean don't lay next to a boy, which
Yes.
I'm sure all of us agree with.
Agreed.
And then also it says, a few pages or whatever, don't eat shellfish. What do Australians do on Christmas?
Yeah.
We eat shellfish.
yes.
Don't get
Yeah.
tattoos. One of my pastors has a tattoo. It's like, you're just using the Old Testament when it's all about the New Testament.
Yeah. My personal favorite is a homophobe having a tattoo of the verse in Leviticus that says, thou shalt not lay with man, and go, dude, 2 verses away from that is one saying don't get a tattoo.
The other specific thing is that, I mean, further than from religion, what you believe is what you believe in the fact of being religious. We have to understand that Australia itself is a multifaceted, multi-faith, multi-dimensional country. That includes people who don't have faith whatsoever. So are you going to say to the people that you're going to be ruled by this specific aspect of religion because of you, but then the other people have to then also be ruled by that thing because they don't believe it?
Well, the problem with that,
how do you unpack that?
when it comes down to it, where religion is concerned, the problem with religion is institutionalized religion, not faith in and of itself. When you've got Catholic churches and Christian churches that are earning mega stupid amounts of money,
Hillsong, bugger off,
and so forth, they've got entirely too much political sway, and too much.
Let's just be honest. Sometimes I'm just going to say this: it's like, if you're going to attack gay people for living a quote unquote gay lifestyle or being against that, maybe, honey, you should check your cupboards with skeletons before you come for us. I mean, there was never a royal commission into the gay lifestyle, but what has there been a royal commission into institutionalized sexual abuse? So I think some people need to fucking check their wardrobes before they come for me in my life.
No, it's my firm belief on like trans people, for instance. I do not have never and probably will never suffered from any form of body dysmorphia, I believe they refer to it as. I have always felt perfectly comfortable in my skin, in the gender that I present as. I have no problems with being called a man, a boy, etc.
People. Neither do anyone else. This aspect that. Sorry.
No, it's right. You're right, Kyle. You're passionate. I get it. It's good. But what I'm trying to say is that I do know several trans people. Love them all to pieces. What have I had to do? I've had to change my gender pronouns for them, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand. Like, because I've never experienced it, I don't understand it. So therefore, I've got absolutely no right whatsoever to turn around to them and say, oh, you're wrong about this, or you're right about that, or you should try and do it this way, or you should try and do it that way. I've got no right to do any of that because I've not gone through it. So at the end of the day, all I've got to do is just go, oh, you identify as female? Fair enough. I'll use female pronouns. You identify as male? No worries. I'll use male pronouns. You don't identify as either? I'll do my level best to remember to use the they, them pronouns, which I fail at, but I do my level best. If that is the entire bloody effort that I or others have got to put into it, the rest of the arguments that people have got against trans people just fall to pieces because that's all they've got to do.
Well, and on the they, them pronouns, we use people going, oh, it's not grammatically correct to use it neutral. We already do that.
Yeah.
I have a friend. You will like them. You should hear what my friend did. They did this. We already use it.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Like I've got one friend two, I should say, two friends who don't identify either side as male or female, and they want they them pronouns. Now, one of them was male identified at birth. The other one was female identified at birth. And there are times that I will still accidentally use male pronouns. I will still accidentally use female pronouns with them. But they understand that I'm trying not to, and that makes all of the difference. I don't sit there and go, no, you've got boobs, therefore you're a girl. Like, I don't do that sort of bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I've got
boobs. Sorry, they're just throwing it out there.
Look,
and they're getting bigger in lockdown. I'm just telling you.
Same here.
And we're still upset that you've never shown them on a live stream yet, Angry.
Oh, no. There are a number of things that will get my YouTube channel shut down. That's one of them.
I was gonna say I think he's saving that for his OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll send you the link to my OnlyFans.
I've got
We've got the StreamYard now, and then after is the Angry Aussie after party, heard exclusively on OnlyFans.com.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just say, lover, liker, loather, hater, whatever, but that trick that Belle Delphine pulled on all of those thirsty guys out there about opening up the porn account. Yeah. And it's like Belle Delphine plays with a hard cock, and it's an actual rooster. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was some quality trolling.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah. Whatever else she is, she's smart. She's played those guys.
Sorry, guys. Going back a bit, I've got a couple of friends that are just starting to transition. They're trans men, and one of them shared a story of like he was previously non-binary, and I'm guessing through that then he realized that he was a trans man, and even after coming out as trans, he lost some friends and stuff. And I was thinking, these friends, did they not know that he was non-binary or something? Because wouldn't you lose them then?
People are weird, man. Some people will go along with a whole bunch of stuff and then flip out at something that seems trivial. You can never really predict how people are going to react.
To me, like I can wrap my head around being trans more than being non-binary. It just makes a bit more sense to me. I mean, I don't think that non-binary people shouldn't exist or anything like that. Of course they should. But yeah, like it just really weirded me out that story that He
Yeah.
told me about. And
Yeah,
it's just-
people like that. Hey, I'm going to let you all run the conversation for 10 minutes. I'm just going to make a cocktail for my cocktail channel, and I'll let you fine folk run the conversation while I do that.
Just
Oh,
while
this
you're
could
doing
be
that,
dangerous.
I'm gonna head off as well because I've got stuff I have to do, and I've got an assignment on Monday, and this has been amazing.
No worries,
right.
Carl. You take it easy,
Nice
mate. It was
to
a
meet
pleasure.
you.
Bye.
Have a
Yeah.
good
Bye,
one.
guys.
Switching my mic and speakers off now, so you all are in control.
No worries. Thanks, Agri.
Hey,
So,
now
Fox,
we
Fox,
get
you
to
were
run the
saying something.
conversation. That's a cliff.
Yeah, you were saying something before there, but Angry started
Yeah.
speaking, so you kind of got cut down there. What was that, mate?
I was just saying that I'm non-binary, gender fluid, whichever you want to use. So look at me.
So you prefer they them pronouns?
Use whatever ones, male, female. I have friends who know full well this is me, but they still say she, even when because I roleplay with them in video games and my character is female, so they'll still say
Ah,
she.
yeah.
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 But if you want to say them, you say them. You want to say he, you say she. I don't care.
It's one of those things. I don't understand why people lose their minds over the whole, using they them pronouns. Yeah, sure, you're going to make mistakes, but provided that you're not being an asshole about it. Basically, that's all that's required.
The one thing that stuffs me up with the they them pronouns and all that specifically is like I'm already bad at grammar.
Oh, okay.
And then
that's a
put
good
that
reason
on top of me. I'm like, which one do I bloody use in the situation? That's the only thing that freaks me out about it.
Even I don't 100% know which. Although they, them, he, him, she, her, so I'd use them, and where I'd use a him and a her. And...
Yep.
Look, it's one of those things. So I'm going to be very careful with how I tell this next story to make sure that I don't give away any kind of information. My wife is a interpreter for the deaf as her full-time career. And as a result, we have, she loves it and she's really good at it. As a result, we have quite a few deaf friends, and we know quite a few people inside of the deaf community. And the first gender fluid person that I met that preferred they them pronouns were deaf. I should say are deaf. And so signing with them is a little bit more difficult to remember they them pronouns than what it is with just speaking normal everyday English. Because you got the sign for man, like a beard type thing, so man. And then you've got woman, which is a W down the cheek, woman. And when you are referring to somebody over there, you might say the man with the glasses, or you might say the woman with the black hair, for instance, or something like that. If I were referring to this person, I would have to say that person with, as opposed to she with or they them or whatever, So it makes signing it a little bit more difficult. But in spoken English, I might turn around and go, oh, that girl, I mean them over there. Do you know what I mean? It's a really easy correction to make. So the idea that that they are somehow censoring my free speech, or they're doing something wrong against me by asking me to use they them pronouns by making a quick and simple bloody adjustment, that entire argument is freaking ridiculous, and it drives me nuts.
The whole free speech thing, that's ridiculous to start off with, because you can call anyone whatever you want. Like these people that make that argument.
Yeah.
But, they're going to stick to the normal pronouns that what they think. And, that's so-called their free speech if they want to be assholes and not use the pronouns that they should be using.
I think that what a lot of free speeches, as I call them out there, don't take into account is that freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence.
Yeah.
You're absolutely free to turn around and say that,
especially in Australia.
Yeah, you're absolutely free to turn around and say that all gay people are the worst people on the face of the planet. You're absolutely free to say that. every person that is around is absolutely free to turn around and call you a bigoted asshole for saying so.
Yes.
Yep.
Ugh.
Another thing. Back to when we were talking about the media. Remember
Ooh.
Fox, the conversation we had about knowing famous people a little while ago?
Now you're making me remember
Would have been
shit.
a week or two ago. Anyway, we were talking about famous people we'd met. I went to school. She was in my year at school. With Annika Smethurst, the ABC journalist that's getting who got raided by the Australian
Oh, yeah.
Federal Police.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that was so weird. You know, I
Look,
wake up and I hear about my former classmate being raided by the Australian Federal Police, and she's just doing her job.
Look, I mean, it's one of those things. I do think that there are times like we get a little bit too complacent with the media in Australia from time to time, I think. And every now and again, they will do something like having a journalist's house raided for simply doing her bloody job. That shows exactly how close to totalitarianism that we really are getting at times. Now, I don't want to sound like an absolute complete out to the left, lunatic nutcase, whatever. If you believe that we are going for this full totalitarian thing, go nuts. If you don't believe that we're going for it, go nuts. All I'm saying is that some of those signs every now and again do come up and you can't really ignore them.
Yeah. I mean, especially what happened, because I don't actually know what Annika reported on. I never actually heard what it was. But especially what the two other guys that got done for exposing the SAS soldiers for the war crimes. Of course, that's in the public's interest. But anyway, do you know what Annika was accused of?
If it's the raid I'm thinking of, they'd come into possession of a filing cabinet with classified secrets, including some of the shit our soldiers gotten up to in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I think that's the two ABC journalists, not Annika. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only raid I can remember off the top of my head right now.
I've heard about what the other two guys did.
Yeah.
But it was like a week before Annika got raided, when the ABC got raided. I've heard all about what they did, but I've never actually heard in any report what Annika is meant to have, what she exposed that she shouldn't have or whatever.
And you never will.
I suppose I could just send her a text. Hey, Annika, what did you actually do? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
To be clear, I don't like Julian Assange as a person, but I really do like WikiLeaks. And he did something that journalists were supposed to do. And journalists are only too quick and happy to rake him over the coals. As Angry was saying earlier, Murdoch has put it down that you must toe this line, that you must say this, you must be against that, and if you're not, then your job is gone. And so the idea of true independent journalism in Australia, it's 9 times out of 10 it's going to be that crackpot on the internet. It's like in Australia anyway. Friendly Geordies. Okay, now I've got a lot of opinions here, so I'm going to make this very succinct. Friendly Geordies, I don't think that his humor is very funny, to be personally honest. I went out and saw one of his live shows. I thought it was crap. But his political commentary is spot on.
Yeah,
he absolutely nails it. He's got a degree in political science. He actually does his and he actually does his research before he opens his trap. And there was that thing not long ago where there was a radio announcer of some right-wing bloody wank job radio station, I think in Melbourne or something, that heard him having a go at Gladys Koala Killer and whatnot, and had a go at him on the radio about it. Friendly Geordies heard it, responded to it, and then actually went on the guy's show And
Yeah,
he
I've
didn't.
watched that one.
Yeah,
It's good.
the good thing is to give Geordie's full credit. If that guy were to try and grill him about what it is that he said about Gladys, about his political stances, about his various conclusions on a whole bunch of different things, Geordie's would actually be able to argue all of those points because he's actually come to those conclusions based on research and evidence, as opposed to some sort of ideological point of view.
Yeah,
I've always said, I've always screamed it from the rooftops. Give me 5 minutes on air with that fucking waste of space. Miranda Devine, Andrew Bolt, fucking Steve Price, Alan Jones.
Oh,
Give
you
me 5 minutes on
you're
air
listing all
when
the
they're talking
names from a
about
TISM track.
when they're talking about climate change, same-sex marriage, the whole, we were in a surplus and now we're not, and how that was apparently
Yeah.
it's like being in a surplus is not a fucking good thing, you assholes. Give me 5 minutes. Now, I don't have the same sort of stage presence that Geordies would. I would love to see Geordies get in there and debate these bastards on open air. I think it would be
Yeah.
great.
It would be a glorious day if it ever does happen. But
It never will. It never will. Andrew Bolt, Miranda Devine, the rest of them, they get challenged to debates from people all of the time, and they will forever ignore them because they know they'll get annihilated from somebody that does more than 5 seconds worth of research.
I do. I really enjoy Geordie's
Mm.
political commentary and stuff, and he also does tickle my funny bone. I just love stupid stuff like that. It's so dumb and it's brilliant in my opinion. But
Johnny,
I'm
there
not
appears to
drunk,
be a
but I'm
question
knocking
in
stuff
the
over.
chat for you from
Welcome back,
Stella.
Angry.
Welcome back, Angry. Asking about your friend.
We were talking about friendly. We were talking about friendly Geordies,
among other things.
Sorry, what was the question? I can't find it.
Stella's asking if your friend is the one that works for Sky News.
No, she's in the newspaper, and she has been, like, she gets interviewed every now and then on shows. So you may have seen her on Sky News because of that. But she works. I've forgotten what paper it is. I should know.
Angry, can I ask? Are you a fan of friendly Geordies?
He comes up in almost every live stream. I don't watch all of his videos. I do watch some of his videos. It's fair to say our ideology is similar on a lot of stuff, but we also diverge on a lot of stuff.
Angry. Sorry.
Yeah.
You might want to finish your point first because my question might be a long answer. That's all.
Okay. I was just going to say that from what little I know of him, the two main areas where we diverge is he seems absolutely 1,000,000% behind the Labor Party and just always says they're great and fantastic. And I obviously promote the Labor Party above the LNP, who are scum. But I will not be shy in criticising Labor because I think current federal Labor are shit, quite honestly.
Safa just said two things that. One, did the NBN make us bankrupt? Make us bankrupt, it would need to be far better.
No.
And Geordie's is too far left. ABC won't have that. Let's actually take that one.
I was going to say the other thing where I diverge with him on is on the notion of intersectional politics, as in understanding politics through the lens of people with different concerns, through a feminist perspective, through the perspective of non-white people. My impression is that he rejects that wholeheartedly and in fact thinks it's stupid. And I think that's privileged white boy talk.
That's definitely one of the areas that I don't appreciate his commentary is when he has talked about or even just vaguely touched on the topics of things like feminism or, institutionalized racism or something like that. He's dismissive would be the best way to describe it, I would say. And part of me understands why he might not want to go down that path, because this is my own personal point of view. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say that I had a YouTube channel that was just as popular as Geordie's, where I was getting 5, 6, 7, 800,000 views per video. And I decided to release a video explaining that I actually agree with the ideals of rape culture, that I identify as a third wave feminist, and all of that sort of stuff. I have a feeling that my view count would go from 6, 7, 800,000 views down to a few thousand, because people have a tendency to run away from that topic in their droves, which is disheartening. So I resonate a little bit of understanding on that. Having said that, there is a point that you need to stop being a bloody coward about it as well, and actually say, no, this is enough. Like, this is where I draw the line.
Yeah. No, but he again, anyone who starts going on about political correctness gone mad is weak and pathetic in my book. That is the most piss weak line of, I don't want to take responsibility for anything I say or do. And it's just like, grow the fuck up. You're in a position of supreme privilege. You get to do whatever you want. And the idea that someone might say, hey, that kind of sucks what you said there, is some horrible infringement on your liberties, is absolute bullshit.
As we were saying earlier about the people that are like, oh, you can't get in the road of my freedom of speech. The one thing that they don't seem to understand is that freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. You are absolutely, like, as I said before, you are absolutely free to say that all gay people are the problem with the world and they're the scum of the earth and whatnot. You're absolutely free to say that. Every person with a modicum of common sense is absolutely free to call you the bigoted asshole that you are.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminded me of one thing that got me in a spot of bother, which I didn't think it would ahead of time. But there was that clown in the UK who put up a video that he taught his dog to do a Hitler salute.
The Count Dankula.
Yeah, the Scottish dude.
And when I actually made a video, and it wasn't a YouTube call out, I was literally just responding to a news story, and I didn't think he'd ever noticed the fact that I'd done this, because I wasn't intending him to. I was just commenting on the news, and my comment actually was, it seems pretty definite he's an asshole, but actually prosecuting him under anti-Semitism laws is fucking ridiculous. It's belittling actual anti-Semitism, and it's like, okay, he's a fuckwit yobbo who goes Scottish for 14-year-old level shock tactics. Big deal. But to actually prosecute him under vilification laws is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And the fact that he actually got convicted, I think, was complete bullshit.
He's an update for you.
He is a lying, hypocritical, bigoted asshole. When he says that he's not a bigot, and he's not fucking joined UKIP. He's a lying, bigoted, cowardly sack of shit. But prosecuting him for that was stupid as hell.
Here's an update on his case. He's thinking of taking it to some kind of tribunal with the UN, because he's gone all the way through the appeal system in the Scottish or UK
law
system.
Yeah.
And it's like it was just a dumb little joke. Yeah. And how could it have gone this far?
There's been a bunch of ridiculous prosecutions in the UK. It's worse than Australia. And again, people prosecuted who I think are absolute fucking scum. Like people who were trolling memorial web pages for kids who died and whatnot. Obviously the scum of the earth and whatnot. But to actually get them on criminal charges is like, that seems a bit out of scale, honestly.
The only time that I've been okay with that were the people that were bloody Alex Jones fans over in the States there.
I'm an Alex Jones fan just because it's freaking hilarious to watch the man.
It is performance.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, look,
Yes,
I
he's
don't think
admitted
he actually thinks what he says, but having said that, his fan base started contacting the parents of Sandy Hook victims.
Oh
Mm.
yeah,
No.
You know,
He was actually responsible for ruining people's lives. He should
Yeah.
face legal repercussions.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And also because he slandered them. He went on saying that they had faked their children's death. I want him to burn in hell for eternity for what he's done. And he absolutely should face criminal prosecution for slandering people and ruining their lives.
As much as I love the occasional bit of awesome content that comes out of him, I completely agree that he should be serve some kind of time or something for that, even though it would remove the memes for a bit.
Yeah, I just think they should sue him into oblivion, take all his money and ruin his life. And I want him to never stop the rants, but he ends up just being the homeless alcoholic who does it on street corner.
And people just stream him constantly because it's Alex Jones.
I love the bit that John Oliver did on him. I thought that was actually really quite well done.
I remember watching that. That was a really good one.
Yeah, like all of this, like it was just showing. Like I've never watched any of Alex Jones's shit because that's exactly what it is. It's shit. But just seeing the gigantic bloody segues into. I don't want to put chemicals in the water to turn the freaking frogs gay. Oh, by the way, you need to buy this. Like that tangent is what the hell.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest 180 degrees I've ever seen.
Yeah. About
chuck another Yui, mate.
Yeah, about 8 to 10 years ago, and this is Alex Jones was big, but he got much bigger afterwards. But about 8-10 years ago, Aidsy and I were doing research into conspiracy theories and trying to work out what's behind them. And we're going okay, Alex Jones, what's he really doing? Go to his website, and it was non-stop ads. At that time, his big seller, he was making DVDs with just all his apocalypse prophecies on them.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And they were a huge seller. More recently, he started selling all those bullshit supplements. But we went, what's Alex Jones really about? The site was nothing but ads for things to buy, and went, he's generating controversy. He's attracting lunatics just to sell them stuff. He just wants to sell people shit.
You would have to be stupid enough to believe what he says to buy the shit that he's peddling.
Oh, of course.
My personal favorite was when he's selling some supplement and how it turned him into a gorilla man. And there was before and after photos. And honestly, he's about my physique, right? He's standing there sucking his gut in. He's about my physique, which is not great. But the before and after photo looked the same.
Yeah.
Same. And it was really red in the after.
Yeah.
Yes, Johnny, you know it. He was really red in one of them. That was the difference.
In the after
in one of them. And it was like,
photo.
Dude, you've gone a bit redder, but you look the same. What?
I am a big fan of Alex Jones just because of how ridiculous it is. Like, remember my two mates that... Oh, he's gone. No, don't go angry. Remember my two mates that destroyed systems theory?
Destroyed
angry?
What, sorry?
Oh, don't. It's a bit of a story. I used to live in a share house, and I came home one night, and I lived with people that are much smarter than me. One of them got his doctorate in Mongolian history a little while ago and stuff like that. But I came home and I found both of them scrawling all this stuff on butcher's paper. I'm like, oh, what are you guys up to? And Jono piped up, he's like, we're destroying systems theory. Had enough of it. So for a year and a half, they read every book on systems theory they could and wrote a thesis about it and got it published in some journal. This is what they do for fun. Anyway,
Yeah.
So Chris, who is the other guy who isn't the doctor of Mongolian history, he introduced me to Alex Jones because he loves his conspiracy theories. And I thank him every now and then for it when I see another ridiculous Alex Jones thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he introduced me to a time cube. You guys ever heard of time cube?
Nope.
Not really.
Oh, it's this old website of this guy, this old dude who had a tiny bit of knowledge about how to set up a website. And he set up this website, and it's just this rambling conspiracy thing about how time is actually cubed. There's like a fourth dimension, and it just keeps going. It's just one of those amazing rabbit holes you can fall into.
Wow. So I just
back up.
randomly looked up news headlines, and there's one: 2 women escape from hotel quarantine after flying into Perth overnight. And said the police have charged 2 women after they flew into Perth on Monday night without permission and allegedly escaped hotel quarantine to attend a party. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the
It's been those sorts of people, the ones who want to go to parties, who are doing it.
But why would you fly interstate and do that?
I watched the news report on those 2 women that went from Melbourne up to Queensland.
Yes.
You know, I saw the news report on that. Now, this is where I've got to tread a little bit of thin water here. I don't judge people based on looks, but I saw these 2 women. We are talking lip injections, plastic surgery, makeup put on with a shotgun. They just oozed selfishness and vapidness.
Yeah.
They
And
did
it
look
wouldn't
plastic.
And it
They
wouldn't
look
surprise
exactly
me
like I
if
thought they would.
it was the same type of person that just did that sort of shit over in Perth.
Yeah. But what I thought was funny is because, the way the media ran their photos and names, which they've never done to anyone else, it's because they ruin their lives. But I thought, but all you'd actually have to do is stop wearing makeup and no one would recognize you. Because they would be unrecognizable without makeup. Those ridiculous Instagram photos that ran in the media, if they didn't wear makeup, they'd be unrecognizable. So
There's just this is one of my favorite all-time stories of meeting one of these absolute vapid wastes of space. When I went to TAFE years ago, I won't say which TAFE, to learn sign language. There was a lady that was in the course with us that was learning sign. Now, sign language, like the world over, one of the most important aspects is facial expression. It can change the meaning of a sign to 6 different things based on your bloody facial expression.
Oh, wow.
Now, this lady, she she'd had bloody liposuction, she'd had a boob job, she'd had a chin tuck and a this and that and the other and blah, and she had all of her makeup tattooed on and she had talons, like fake nails that were like, yay long type thing and all of that sort of stuff. And she's learning sign language. Great, that's a good thing. And then the TAFE teacher was telling us exactly how important facial expression is. And at the end of the class, she's like, "Yep, well, I won't be able to do this course anymore. Why is that?" "Oh, because I'm getting Botox tomorrow. I can't do facial expressions."
I was waiting for it.
Johnny, to bring it back to something we were talking about, your friend Annika earlier.
Yep.
Stella said she did Google it, and she believes it is her, Annika Smethurst.
Yes, that's it.
Yep, she did. That is who Stella thought you were talking about. So she was right. Yeah, Peter Dutton confirms Australia could spy on its own citizens under cyber security plan. That's what she exposed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for looking that up for me.
Yep. So your friend,
I'm lazy.
So your friend did good work.
Yeah, I know she does good work.
Yeah.
She was one of the good ones in my year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a journalist when I was younger. Glad I didn't.
Yeah. That was my thing too. When I was at uni, I wanted to do the journalism course, and I could have transferred into either the journalism or the theatre thing. And I had interviews with the heads of both schools, and the head of the journalism school was an absolute fucking prick. And I went, no, screw you, mate. And I went with theatre. If I'd done journalism, because it's the journalism school in Australia, I would have got a job. Like, people I went to uni with are on TV and work for the papers and all that shit. I would have got a job. But I've never regretted it, because I ended up really fucking hating the people in that course. And I really enjoyed the one I did.
Would you struggle, having to drag around that soapbox you have to get on all the time?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just, I mean, like...
Angry. Sorry, angry, but you'd never be able to make it as a journalist, mate. You're entirely too bloody honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have scruples.
It would have. You'd have to sell them, because Jesus, the last 20 years of journalism have been fucking. I mean, even like one of the 60 Minutes people at the moment, she was at uni when I was at uni. She was doing the journalism degree, so that's how well people who did that course do. But I just like Kirsten saying that if you change the way you do your makeup, you change your face. It's alchemy. YouTube makeup tutorials blow my mind. How completely
some of them are so amazing.
Yeah. What they do is my personal favorite is dudes who do really good makeup and look hyper feminine. And I went, ooh, you would confuse people in a dimly lit bar.
One of my trans friends, she without putting too much of a fine point on it, she passes, as it were. So people look at her and don't think that she's trans. People don't think that anything but girl, and it's sad and frightening and also entertaining, the amount of guys out there that start to get to know her a little bit. And the moment that bomb drops, just seeing the look on their face has been absolutely amazing at times.
Yeah. A friend shared a really funny cartoon on Facebook today. It was like, one dude showing another dude, a girl on a phone, like, wow, she's hot, isn't she? And the guy's, yeah, man, she's just my type. So, and he goes, she's trans. And the other goes, oh, well, no way. Yeah, no, there's no way. No, gross. No, I wouldn't go out with a trans girl and go, oh, no, wait, I was wrong. She's not trans. And he goes, oh, well, she's pretty. Yeah, I'd definitely go out with her. He goes, no, she's trans. And the guy's over here tying himself in knots with, yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't.
Well, until very recently, I actually never thought I would date. I mean, I had nothing against trans people, but I never thought I'd date one. And, well, my partner is. So, meh.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, I mean, it's one of those things. I've got, I'm happily married to a cisgendered female, and no problems with that. Would I ever date a trans person? It depends on the person. I don't give a good goddamn what their gender is. I care about the person.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have to admit, my honest answer when people ask me that is like, I could try and be really hip and groovy and go, yeah, definitely. And my answer is, I don't know. It depends who I met, I guess. It's. I'm not going to try and be super hip and trendy and go, yeah, definitely.
It's probably like anything
I don't know.
Women.
If the trans person was, say, Blair White, no.
Don't know who that is.
That's
be thankful.
No,
okay,
look,
rightio.
Just to go to the defense of the straight white dude for a moment, if I may. If you're a straight dude and you're standing there and screaming that you would never date a trans person, fine. Nobody's going to say that you're wrong for that. Nobody's going to say that you're a bad person because you wouldn't date a trans person because you're straight. That's fine.
Just shut up and don't make a big deal about it.
Yeah, exactly. They're all like, oh, we're getting victimized. And it's like, no, you're not getting victimized. People are just saying, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
there's a big difference.
Yeah. An obliquely related one, another people sharing memes all the time, which I love. Someone saying like, I could never date a girl with an OnlyFans account. That's just gross. And the person asks them, is a girl with an OnlyFans wanting to date you?
That's like I
Did you
He's
met-
guys
really
hear
angry.
about
this is a true story. 2 months
oh.
ago, I met a real deal incel.
Oh,
Cool.
really?
Yeah,
A proper
real.
one in the wild.
Yeah,
Did you
no.
catch him with the Pokeball?
No. If I caught him, I would have harmed him. No, he. Wow, they are a different breed of fucking stupid.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. And I remember turning, like, at the end of the conversation, I remember turning around to him and saying, "Dude, there is nothing involuntary about your celibacy.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
just making it really fucking easy for women to turn around and go, nope, and run." Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
There was
Yeah.
I remember, like, on one of those ABC chat shows or something where with young people talking about gay rights, etc. And there was this bloke who was just living up to a stereotype of a Westie bogan about, "Oh, the guys are trying to, they want to get onto me. I don't want anything to do with that." And the gay guys on the panel just goes, "Dude, you're safe. Okay, you are so." There ain't no one trying to get you.
Do you remember
I
back
got a
in the
little-
early 90s, late 80s, there was a gay icon, Julian Clary, I think his name was?
Yeah. remember
He
him,
was
yeah.
on a TV show over here. I think it was the Graham Norton show or Rove or something like that. And there was some right-wing journo wanker guy whose name I cannot remember, who had just basically said, the Mardi Gras should be banned back in the day.
Oh yeah,
You
right.
know, and yeah, and gay people are horrible and all of these sorts of different things. And the host of this talk show turned around to him and said, what do you think of the gay community? And he turns around and goes, "I don't think about the gay community at all because I've got better things to do with my time." And Julian Clary turns around and goes, "And to be clear, we never think about him either because we'd never have sex again." I give him full credit. I love that.
Going back to like the whole incel thing, I don't know if the incels were around when I was a teenager or whatever, but let's just put it this way. There was a stage in my life where if I knew the incels existed, I may have fallen into that.
I was very much bordering on that.
Yeah,
Although-
absolutely. Absolutely. I had some of those. Look,
The only reason that I didn't is that I didn't know it existed at the time.
Look, when I was
Johnny,
in high school,
are you
Sorry, go
older
ahead,
or
Fox.
young? Are you older or younger than 30?
I am older than 30.
Okay, by how much?
I'm 33.
Okay. Incels in their current form are relatively new. I'm 30 exactly, so relatively new, but the site they use has been around since the 90s.
Look, I mean,
Yeah,
growing up, when I was in high school, it was one of the things that I always argued about. The guy goes out to sleep with 10 girls, he's a stud. The girl goes out and sleeps with 10 guys, she's a slut. I always thought that the hypocrisy of that was absolutely disgusting, and I was always against it. But I did kind of carry that flag for a short amount of time of, oh, she's dating all of these assholes. Why doesn't she date the nice guy,
Yeah.
I am the nice guy.
Like,
Yeah,
for me, it was all like a lot of it was body image issues, which, I'm a big boy. I'm the chunky dude. I'm the chonk.
I was the opposite end. I was the skinny, scrawny guy.
Yeah, I wanted to be you, mate. And I think it all came a lot of it from that, and I haven't had a lot of experience just being with people.
As I've said to anybody, look, it's okay that if in your younger days you did the whole, oh, she only dates assholes, why doesn't she date the nice guy? It's okay if you
I never actually got to that stage.
What I'm trying to say is that in your later life, when you're reaching into adulthood, say like your mid-20s and onwards type thing, if you have learned from your mistakes and changed your behavior accordingly, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, and you're still sprouting that nonsense, you really need to get kicked in the nuts hard.
And like the only thing that's really stopping me at the moment possibly is the old lockdown, because I'm doing the online dating thing, which I've never really done before, because the lockdown is like, is the only real way to meet new people. And I've kind of got to the stage where most of the people that I have a chance to match with are from Melbourne. So I've gone through everyone else. And yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that may be stopping me at the moment. And the whole lockdown, of course.
Look, dating somebody, being married to somebody, being a partner to somebody should not be the defining characteristic as to whether or not that is going to, in any way, shape, or form, improve or confirm your life. The only advice that I would give to anybody that is thinking along those lines is that if you truly want a relationship that is going to last the test of time, that is going to be meaningful, that isn't going to be a 3-month fling that's going to end in a horrible shower of flames and fire, is to get your own shit in order first. And if somebody comes along and sees the life path that you're on, sees the person that you are, and falls in love with you when you've got your shit together, then that's real love. If you're, no, I'm doing all of this in order to try and impress a person, those lies always come out in the end, and things just aren't going to work out. So get your own life in order. It's the best way that you're ever going to be able to find a relationship, in my opinion.
I'm trying to do that, but sometimes it's hard.
Oh, absolutely, man. Life is hard.
How long have you been married for, Angry, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not actually married. Been with Mrs. Angry is just a handy moniker. We've been together. We've been together for over 15 years. So
okay.
Might as well.
And the kids that I've heard you refer to, are they like your and hers, or?
No, my kids is with an ex, and her son is with an ex. So we've got a very mixed household. They're all fucking young adults, kids. The youngest is 17 and year 12.
I was going to say, like, I've been watching you, Mr. Angry, for on and off for 10 years.
Yeah,
and
you were talking about your kids back then. So
yeah, well, there are some videos from my very early days that my kids are in, and they're both under 10. That's how long I've been on YouTube.
I think I've definitely watched one of them. I remember
they're both under 10 years old. Yeah,
I think you did one with your daughter once that I watched.
Yeah, haven't both of them graduated high school already by now?
Sorry?
Haven't both the ones that you currently live with?
Yeah, they're both at uni. Both my kids are at uni. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're both at
What are they doing?
My daughter's doing linguistics and majoring in Japanese, and my son's doing computer game design.
Majoring in Japanese, awesome. Like my mate that does he has the Mongolian history doctorate. He's a linguist as well. He taught himself Esperanto in about 2 months for fun.
Cool.
He's just crazy, man.
Cool. I'm going to go to bed, and I wanted to address a few things. What was that you held up, Fox? The drink?
It's one of the things I've been mixing. It's actually me and Charlie both mentioned it one night. The Greenall's gin.
Okay. Yeah, because it earned down the sink from Kirsten, who's really fussy about gin.
I was going to say, remember the gin I talked about, the Mill gin that has the really cool bottle? Like
I have this. It's vodka. Green apple infused vodka.
What is it with you and apple and alcohol, Fox?
I love apples and I love alcohol.
Hey,
green apples.
Apple schnapps all the way.
Sorry, Andrew,
that was the first alcoholic drink I ever had.
Sorry?
You said that you had a couple of things that you wanted to raise?
I'm going to leave with this one, I reckon, because I just randomly looked at news headlines. For those who don't know, Ryan Reynolds, the actor, Deadpool and many other things, he owns a gin company called Aviation Gin. Yep. And now he's just sold an interest in it to the biggest fucking distributor in the world. But apparently, like the total sale price is like $850 million. Diego PLC, they own Tanqueray Gin and Guinness Beer and Smirnoff, Captain Morgan. Now they go to but he's apparently staying on. But I just want to leave. He did an out of office email when the news broke that he was going to make like a couple $100 million from this deal, and the out of email goes, "Thanks for your email. I'm currently out of the office, but will still be very hard at work selling aviation gin for quite a long time, it seems. In related news, I just learned what an earn out is. And I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to everyone I told to go fuck themselves in the last 24 hours. My lawyers just explained how long it takes to achieve an earn out. So, turns out I'm not as George Clooney as I thought." So he's made a joke about like, yeah, there's this huge deal, but he actually has to stay on the company and be the face of the company for quite a few years to actually get his payday, which he will obviously do, and make.
The poor man. The poor man.
Yeah, he'll make
I weep for him.
Bang.
We weep for him, but he's a funny dude. I just want to say that.
Yeah. No, he is. One of the things that I genuinely do love about Ryan Reynolds is not only is he willing to give out like jokes about almost anything. If you truly hated him and came out with a video like Ed calling him the worst person in the world, his response would be to turn around and go, "Yeah."
Yeah. I like this. In the same story, there's an Instagram photo he did to celebrate the sale, and he goes, "Oh, I love this photo shoot I did. Hair by such and such, styling by such and such, bags under my eyes by two thankless assholes who refused to go to bed the night before, despite the fact I read them Winnie the Pooh and nearly half of Stephen King's The Shining." Talking about he always does terrible jokes about his kids, which I find hilarious.
That's one thing that I will say before we stop this one. Ricky Gervais and his uncanny ability to take horrible photos of his wife and put them up on Instagram with horrible captions.
Oh dear.
There was a photo like that he's got that it looks like this beautiful picturesque thing, and it's his wife's profile, and you can't see her face, and just this long shadow coming away from his wife, and it just says, "My wife, insert name here, hanging out with all of her friends." These are the sorts of photos that he constantly uploads about his wife. If I had an Instagram, I would do that. My wife would murder me, but that is my kind of humor. That is hilarious.
Cool. Kirsten, is that real? Does that deal have some relationship to Starward whiskey? Or is that a joke? I can't tell. I see. I'm not smart enough to know if that's a joke or a real thing.
So, and Kirsten, also, did you get my message about the microphone suggestion?
I don't know. There's like a 30-40 second gap at least between saying something and getting a response. But
yay!
Yeah. So I'm going to go to bed because it's a school night, as the saying goes. I've got a really long commute in the morning to that table just behind me.
I feel for you. I feel for you so much.
I love.
Thanks for bringing me in for the last part, Angry.
I love spending the morning in meetings and stuff in my dressing gown. So I never switch on the webcam. I just have the microphone on, and I was like, "Yeah, no, it's good. It's good." I'm sitting here in my PJ. I never tell anyone I'm sitting in my pajamas or.
Wearing a dressing gown.
I'm sitting around all day in my Deadpool jacket or my Superman jacket or something like that.
It looks familiar.
I tell my TAFE class.
My partner has one and I've worn it on stream.
Oh yeah.
If it's the one I think it is, stand up for a second. Let's see. Yep.
Tacos.
Yep. Hashtag tacos.
Oopsie daisy. Here we go.
Yep. That exact one. My partner has the exact one, and I wear it occasionally.
Yeah, no, I've been a big fan of Deadpool. Sorry, just to go very comic book fanboy just for a quick second there.
Good, mate.
He's trying to pick a fight with Kitty Pryde, and Kitty Pryde trying to pick a fight with Wolverine, and Wolverine's not having anything of it, and then Kitty Pryde basically comes up and starts paying out on him, and he turns around and he looks at Kitty Pryde and he goes, "Do you like fighting games?" She goes, "No, not really," and he goes, "Oh, that's a pity. Sure, you can," and it's actually got the movements that you actually had to do in the Street Fighter video game. Yes. I couldn't breathe. I was on a packed train heading into the guts of Sydney, reading that for the first time, and lost my mind. People thought that nuts. It was
You
absolutely
must have thought that
hilarious.
you'd lost your mind.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See
Have a
y'all
good
Ciao, guys.
one.